What's up? It's Lip Service. I'm Angela Yee.
I'm Gigi Maguire.
I'm Jordan Emanuel.
Oh, I'm Scottie Rocks, a.k.a. Shaun T's husband.
AKA.
I'm Shaun T. What's up?
You have to be Shaun T's husband.
I mean, his better half.
No, you're my better whole.
Okay.
We don't do halves. We don't do halves. I want a whole husband, not a half a husband.
Is it weird being like married to somebody famous and you have to, like when you introduce yourself, they're like, oh, this is Shaun T's husband.
I mean, he is who he is. I mean, look at him. He's all that. And, you just get, at first, it's exciting, because I didn't know who he was at first. Let's be totally honest.
Okay.
The funny story, which he hates when I say, is that when we met, he's like, so have you Googled me? And I was like, why? He's like, you should Google Shaun. And I was like, what do you like, Madonna? Like you just have one
No
name?
last name.
I was like, yeah, bitch. That's exactly who
I
I
Googled Shaun T, and it came up. It's like, oh,
Okay.
you're that guy. So to answer your question, it's fun. There's some downfalls, but it's
Right.
I love him, so it's what comes with the package.
Right. It's nothing to think about because somebody would be like, oh, that's Gigi's boyfriend or that's Jordan's man.
Right.
And so I wonder if guys feel a little weird sometimes with the dynamic of being like, oh, yeah, that's such and such's,
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he is the reason why I get noticed everywhere. Because I'll be somewhere and they'll be like, oh, you're Shaun T's husband. He must be around here somewhere. So he's actually just as famous as I am.
No, he is actually because you guys do a lot together. And I think that is just to see how you guys are celebrating each other because marriage has been tough for a lot of people lately.
Yeah.
And y'all have been married for what, 11, 12?
It'll be almost 12 years in October, yeah.
Yeah. And we keep seeing all these people that don't seem like they're having that much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a good time. So I will tell you this. In the very beginning of our relationship, the one thing we said, well, we are really great communicators and we just have no secrets. We're like, if we got to go to the trenches with honesty, like that's exactly what we're going to do. And it just leaves you not having to guess like what some people think or what they feel. And even in times where, we have knockdown dragouts. I tell people like, we're gay. We have a lot of testosterone. Like there's definitely some, we were both athletes. I'm like, who gonna take this one? But at the end of the day, like he is my ride or die. You know what I'm saying? And we are 100% honest with each other. Like there's nothing you can tell him that I haven't already told him.
Having been in relationships where you're not honest, being in a relationship where there are no secrets is really refreshing because I can tell him anything. Or if I'm concerned about something, I'm like, yo, don't get mad at me when I'm going to say this, but we need to talk or we need to go in the locker room is what we say, to preface so that we know that we're going to talk about something that could potentially be, I don't know, something where we get into, but...
It was a learning curve, though, because I'm from Jersey and he's from Seattle. Like, he didn't want to say shit and I wanted to say everything. So we had to, we did, they say, there's, compromise or whatever, but it's not so much that we compromise. It's more of I can learn to be calmer from him and he can learn to speak up for himself.
Oh, that's interesting.
So y'all balance each other out.
So we do fit like Legos. Even our astrology chart will tell us that we don't need to be together.
Okay.
Wait, what are y'all
The Taurus and the Sagittarius.
Taurus and the Sagittarius.
Wait, did you know that before or did you research?
I mean,
Yo.
we're thorough.
But she loves... No, what I learned about Jordan is she loves talking about horoscope signs, earth signs.
What he'll do is he'll talk to y'all for 4 minutes and be like, you're this and you're this. So
I'm not
if you
gonna
did
guess.
that, I was
Not
like,
today, not-
wow. Because he doesn't, he's good. He's good like that.
Now, so Scott, you said that before having come from relationships where you weren't honest. So did you used to be a liar?
I mean, I lied pretty much for 38 years of my life.
Okay, right.
So I was used to lying because I wasn't comfortable. I didn't want to be gay. I used to always say, just haven't met the right girl. And, I was hoping it would go away. And so I had I was a professional athlete too. So it was like,
that's tough.
You can't be gay and play soccer or any sport really. And so I was a professional liar.
Wow.
So
You actually didn't let people know until you guys announced that you were getting married.
Well,
publicly.
I came out to my parents when I was 34, but I really didn't. I don't feel like I came out until I met him at 38. And then, you can talk about our Twitter exposure.
Well, I want to say first, that's the other dynamic between us. I came out at 21. My mom was like, word, let's go. She made jokes about it. And he,
How did your parents react?
So my dad was like, I knew for 4 years, and my mom cried for 6 months.
Ooh.
I mean, again, it wasn't a bad situation. They were both very supportive. They both love me, and they both love him like a son, authentically.
Yeah.
But there's that fear. So I didn't come out to them first. The first 3 people I came out to, 2 of them were like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I was like,
crazy.
So I have 1/3. I'm succeeding. I'm failing. I have 1/3% of people that are going to say, okay, it's cool that you are who you are. So I'm not doing this anymore.
Right.
So I'm gonna try to like fight it and fight it and fight it.
And you couldn't.
I fought it. And
That's awful for somebody to not be your friend anymore. Can you imagine that?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it
Just
was-
wanting to be
it
your
was
true
rough.
self is crazy.
Yeah.
And I can say now that I am authentically myself, it is. Like,
Refreshing.
I really hope that people could do that, because it is, I say before I met him, I lived in black and white, and now I live in color because I can be who I am, and he loves me for who I am. So it's the most amazing feeling ever. If
Wow.
people,
So
And
when you-
Shaun- I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go.
Coming out at 21, you
Yes.
said your mother was, let's
My
go.
mom- y'all wanna- can I tell
she
y'all
should
a
be here
story?
tonight.
Oh my God, I gotta tell you the story. It is so crazy. So, first of all, I came out to my mom at 21. Prior to that, so I grew up in the church. Like, my grandfather was the pastor, my grandmother the first lady, my mom grew up in the church, the whole thing. So I had a roommate who was my boyfriend. And so my grandfather said to my grandmother, like, yo, we need to talk to Shaun about this friend that he has. So my mom was like filling me in on all the details. She's like, pop-ups on to you, whatever. But I still had not come, I know, but I still had not come out to my mom yet. So I was like, I need to come out to my mom. So I went to her that night and I talked to her about, we had a conversation. I talked to her about my sexual abuse. I just went through my whole history, but then we got to the part, I'm like, and I'm gay. And so she was like mad. It was literally like telling your best friend who loves you. And she was just like, word. But she was like, I just got one question. She was like, because at the time I was dating this guy named George. And she was like, is George your boyfriend? And I was like, yeah. She was like, Shaun. She's like, are you going back home tonight? I said, yeah. She's like, can I ask you one question? I was like, what? She was like, don't get mad at me when I ask you this. I was like, what? She was like, who's plugging who?
I can't believe your mom
But
asked
no,
that.
because she's hilarious.
And what did you tell her?
I said, I don't do that. I was a total top. Get into it. That's how I met him. Just putting it out there. Because I was like, no. But, it was her way of just being like, we cool.
Yeah.
And
We
I
can
was
talk
like,
about it.
Yeah, and I was like,
Right.
don't tell Ennis, who's my brother. I was like, I want to tell him tomorrow. So I called my brother. I was like, hey, I'll meet you at the house tomorrow. We get out the car. He's like, Mom already told me. He was like, you don't need to come
told
out.
that fast.
Yeah. He was like, you don't need to come out to me. You just need to tell me, the guys that you think are hot. Like, I literally had it probably easier
That's
than
great.
That's
most
amazing.
To
people
be
I know.
supported.
Especially
Total Top
coming
would
from
be
a
a great
religious
workout
family.
series.
What's that?
Total Top.
Total top. Great workout.
Yo,
Does
let
that
me
sound
tell you
like a
something.
workout series?
I'm gonna give you royalties.
Like
Trust and believe.
Total top.
A lot of
Full upper
squats.
body workout.
Like, y'all just gave me the whole new brand.
Total
Scott's
top.
my manager, so
Right,
make
come
sure-
on, make notes. Make notes.
I don't even need a cast. I got y'all.
Period. Built in. Yes.
So now, so when you guys met, y'all met in the gym, right? Is that correct?
No,
or
we
no?
did not meet in the gym.
Okay.
We tell people we met in the gym because people are just not ready. We met on a website called manhunt.net.
Man.
Before Grindr.
Yes.
It was
Right.
no
Website.
apps. It
Yeah.
was a website. And, people call it a dating website. It was a hookup website.
Yes.
And that's how we met.
Okay.
So what is it? It was an initial hookup and not a date, or was it?
Yeah.
or
No,
was
it
a
was-
date?
it
It was
was
a
I mean, we were
initial
both in
hookup.
relationships. I was in a 6-year relationship. You were in a 2-year relationship, I think.
Both unhappy in our relationship.
Unhappy.
Yeah.
But for me, I keep hitting this, sorry. For me, my parents have been married for 50 some odd years. So I just assumed that this is the person I'm going to be with for the rest of my life, even though I'm not happy because at the time I didn't think my parents were happy to be together for 50 some odd years. So I was like, okay, this is the guy. Cool. And then I meet him and where I was hooking up on the side. He hooked up first. I was like,
Once
well, I'll
upon
show
a time,
you.
not long ago, I was a hoe. And I'm admitting it. I'm going to take it back because I did the shit. I was a hoe.
I love it.
So then we, we're on this side and we're unhappy with what we're in and we dip and doodle and dabble. And, we met at the corner of 58th and 9th and instantly.
I'm glad you know the exact location.
I
Well,
love all the
it was.
details.
It was.
I love all the details.
It was on the
I
corner.
was right over there
But
today,
wait, you were on
too.
details?
Yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
she wants details. So So on this website, you can do video calls, like just to kind of see what the person
I want to make sure this is real.
Right.
Because
No catfish.
his profile was just his torso. So I was just like, whatever. So we're FaceTiming each other. And I'm like, in his profile, he's like 6 foot, white, 185 pounds or whatever. And we FaceTime, but his lights are out in his apartment. I'm like, you look black. Like, you look like a light-skinned black dude. And so I was just like,
Turn the
wait a
lights
minute, you're
on.
white? Like, it was just so funny. So when I met him, the only thing that was black was that ass.
Okay.
But so yeah, we met on the corner. I literally, 58th and 9th, like 9th Avenue runs north-south, 58th Street runs east-west. And so I was like, I'm going to go up 58th Street. I'm not going to come up 9th Avenue because I want to see him from afar. I want to make sure. And anyway, I walked up to him. He was sitting on the corner on the CVS windowsill. And I swear, and he says the same thing. Literally, we started walking back to his apartment to do what Once Upon a Time not long ago.
Damn.
And I was like, I'm gonna be with this person for the rest of my life. I
love it.
knew it literally within.
And
I was like, what?
And so what we found out a couple weeks later is that when he walked up to me, I felt this energy take over my body, and I've never felt this before. I don't know if I necessarily believe in before life, afterlife kind of thing, where someone's reincarnated, whatever. I felt like instantly felt like I'd known him for like 200 years. And I was like, how is this? What's this feeling? I don't know what it is. It's weird, but he's really cool. And so within 3 steps, we say, which was the theme of our wedding, 3 steps, we both knew that we were going to be with this person forever.
I love this story.
And then we talked about it afterwards, and it was like, oh, wow, you had the same feeling. And so
That's amazing.
It was intense.
Crazy.
Y'all
It was
are the
intense.
living example of don't let your boyfriends stop you from meeting your husband.
Hello?
That's y'all.
Well, as our friend says,
I don't know if
You gotta
that's a read or the
manifestation.
truth.
Wow.
our friend says you got to break a home to make a home.
No, but you don't do that.
See, that
I will
was-
tell you this,
was
transparent. Because like it's not something I don't think anybody's proud about being like, oh, I stepped out or whatever. But if you're unhappy and the behind the scenes thing. But I will, I was engaged.
Okay.
I was actually engaged and had multiple conversations with the person I was with. But anyway.
Why were you
But
unhappy?
moving
Why
on
were
is
you
moving
both?
on.
But
Why were you both unhappy in your relationships, though?
Me,
Like,
I
what
was
it?
bored. Like I
Okay.
wasn't challenged, and I had conversations about it, but they were just very complacent. I would never talk bad about this person. Incredibly kind human being. Like
It
probably
just
still
wasn't
hates me
it.
to this day. But it just wasn't it. And I think that's what happens. It's kind of like what Scott said. My parents have been together. People get settled in.
Yeah.
You don't want to break up. You don't want to break up with that person and hurt them. And then you built these friends together. So you're like in this embarrassing state. And I'm not saying that you should cheat before you break up, but I'm just saying that a lot of people settle, and then 5 years later they have kids, they're married, they have all this money and everything together, and then you're stuck. And so you just have to be fearless about going after what it is that you want.
That's why they call it settling down.
So what kind of time
Right.
frame was it from this meet on the corner to you telling your others at the time that
Mine
it's over?
was very
2
quick.
weeks?
Mine was 2 weeks because I just
He's
said
very
to-
forward.
Yeah.
right?
clearly. But I
Jersey.
said, if I feel this way about you, even if we don't end up being together, then I don't need to be with this other person.
Right, that's a fact.
Because I'm like, my heart is open
for something.
for something else,
Yeah.
And so that was me.
And Scott, what was going on in your relationship that was unhappy?
I realized after years and years of therapy, I wasn't happy with myself. I didn't love myself. And so I really couldn't love someone else. I was just settling because my parents, I thought, had settled for so long. They truly love each other. They're still together. But I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. And being from Seattle, where we hug trees on the regular, it's like we're very peaceful, where you don't like, whenever we compare, like my 3 friends, best friends from back home, they're like, we would never like confront people about stuff. And he's like, that's just what we do. So not necessarily the culture or the way I was brought up. It's just like, you kind of put up with it and you kind of sweep it under the carpet and you just hope it goes away. Kind of like being gay. I hoped it would go away. And after you just build up this tolerance.
You're so handsome.
Thank you. That's nice.
I love this love.
But the thing is, that I was going to say is because I didn't love myself and I wasn't being honest in my relationship, I met him and now I can be honest and be open. And, I had to go on that journey to find myself and then realize that it was okay to be loved. And I'd never met someone who was my ride or die before him. there was one other person who I played soccer with that introduced me to the concept, but to have someone actually have your back is major, especially when you're struggling with who you are.
Right.
So
wait, so you guys went back to the apartment.
Yep. We walked in. I had a long hallway. He walks in. He's up against the wall. He was wearing a hat. I go up under the hat. We kissed, literally, like, you know how in the Brady Bunch they had stars back, it's like
You're dating yourself.
I'm 164 years old. So, but it just, for me, it was like, wow, his lips, his breath, like everything about him was,
it was everything you needed.
Everything.
Yes.
And it just
great.
was lit. Like, I just see these fireworks and I'm just like, holy crap.
And for me, it was more of like, after you do what you do, and how, we're being very candid here.
That's fine.
But
It's lip service.
Right, lip service. Hey, come
And
through.
it was
Like,
lip
it was lip service. But
Both said.
but after we, had our climax and all the fun stuff, it was, we finished and we were like, you want to go get something to eat?
Yeah.
Like, that's what the energy was like.
Right.
But
it wasn't.
so,
You weren't ready for it to end. It
Right.
wasn't
yeah,
like
it wasn't
bye.
like,
It
I'm
was-
getting out of here. Like, I busted
Bye.
whatever. I'm out.
Yeah.
But so that was that for me was just like major. I was like, and at that point I was like, I need to get out of here because I was just like,
Because it's also scary.
it was
Yeah.
scary. I was like, I need to get out of here. 2 weeks later, I'm finished working out at the gym. I'm at Equinox on 19th Street. I'm getting my food. And I look up and he's getting food and he looks up and he rolls his eyes at me. And I'm like, damn, like the hottest, most amazing person just like rolled their eyes at me. So I was like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I still turned it out. I'm gonna go sit down. And then I sat down and he came over to me and he was like talking to me. He's like, I have a cold sore and he was like, the one person that I would not want to see with the cold sore. I'm like, let me tell you something. I'm not looking at the cold sore. So that was the day we were like, all right, this is fate. Cause like,
We're in the
it's
same
New York
gym
City.
I
together.
never been
Like,
to that gym
Random.
ever. I just happened to be walking by. I saw it had cafe in it. I was like, let's go in. It was the first day I was out of my apartment in 2 weeks because I had a cold sore the first time. I was like, all right.
So you stayed in the apartment for 2 weeks.
I mean, you can do that in New York City, kind of.
he worked from home.
Yeah.
So
And then I rolled my eyes because I was like, fuck. Like, this is not the day to run into that guy.
Was it that bad? The cold sore? Did
No,
you?
it
Okay.
was-
I
I'm
didn't
sure.
I barely
Yeah.
saw it.
I know, but
Okay.
when you have it, it's like,
Yeah.
you feel like everyone's like,
What's that?
Especially if you see the
Right.
person that you think is
Right.
like, mad hot.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, why? It's like a pimple. You're like,
true.
Anything.
Yeah.
yeah.
That is too much of a coincidence.
That's
Yeah.
why y'all are here together
Yes.
now.
That's
still
exactly
together.
And that's why
I love
you
it.
lie and say y'all met in the gym.
Well, because we started saying that to people because they just didn't get it. Now, like when you said it, we immediately fixed it. We're like, listen,
It's a story.
we're almost 14 years in. Like
Right.
Yeah.
It worked.
it
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah.
It was not a workout.
So then what happened after the gym? So then it was just like, let's reconnect or...
Actually,
Exchange
for me, we
numbers.
exchanged numbers, and the point in which I said I need to end my relationship is
Yeah.
like I texted him, and I was like, if I'm texting him, like because I can't be in that and in that like that. You know, I could do a little something
Physical,
on the side, right?
right.
But when it starts to get that emotional. And then he took time and
To go back to the original question was, how long it took for me. It was, I was with this amazing person and living this most amazing life of being free and not caring. And then I would go back to my apartment and be with my ex. And he was never there from Monday to Thursday because he traveled a lot for work. So I was like, okay, I get to spend a lot of time with him.
Oh, shit.
And so I could do both. And I was used to not addressing the issue because I had been doing it for 38 years. So I'm like, I'm a pro at this. And so it just got to that point where he ended up breaking up with his ex. And I was like, oh, shit.
It's
like,
real.
I knew it was real, but I didn't want to face it. And so then it just built. And finally I was like, I have to get out of this.
Wait, now I just realized something. He went to your apartment, but you were living with
Yeah.
someone.
Correct. But
He was
And he
away
was out of
at
town.
Yeah.
Wow, what if he would have popped up?
That would have been crazy. Y'all were living his
was
sister's
living
song
his
weekend.
family.
He was doing
I'm
the
not gonna lie,
dude.
Scott, that's mad
Yeah.
disrespectful. You're supposed to at least go somewhere else. I just realized that.
where you gonna go? You gonna go get a hotel room in New York City?
No, we're not. That's too expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
That is,
I mean, look,
With the intentions of not spending the
ex was
night and
doing
really
it
staying
too.
there? No.
So let's
Yeah.
not give him a free
You said
pass.
what?
His ex was doing it too.
oh, for real?
Let's not give him a
So
free pass.
I
My ex
found-
wasn't. I was the
Yeah.
horrible one.
I found
But
out
in that
that he was-
situation.
So you found out after the
Accountability.
fact
No, I
that-
found out before. So
Oh.
he was using my computer to be on the website that I was on.
Oh,
That-
shit.
and so I was like, I
This is a
confronted
mess.
him and I talked to him about it. And he said, okay, I'll stop. And, it's a problem and whatever. I was like, okay, great. And then a couple of weeks later, maybe a month later, I'm on my computer again and it comes up. And it's like, you haven't stopped. And
Right.
so instead of addressing the problem, I'm like, well, I'll show
I'll
you.
just do me.
Period.
And
Yeah.
I set up an account. And
That's
so,
what I would've did.
And that's...
Gigi. Gigi
And
is
I did.
hilarious.
And now what you can find. Gigi, look what you can
Hello.
find.
What's the site?
Did y'all ever have any bad hookups from this site?
Yes.
What's a bad, give us some bad stories, like when things go left. I love a bad dating story.
So I have one.
Go ahead.
It didn't. So
Let me get my drink.
chatting with this guy. He's like, "Come on over," and it's probably 1 a.m.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I'm in Hell's Kitchen. I walk down to the apartment. I buzz. They let me in, and you have to turn and walk up the stairs. And there's a guy standing at the top of the stairs with a gun, and was like, "What the fuck do you want?" And I was like, I was given a bogus address."
What?
And but the guy didn't know, and
Right.
the crazy thing is I was like, I know who you are. He was an actor on TV, but a small role actor, and I was like, he's literally like, get the fuck out of here. What do you want? I was like, wrong address, literally out. So
That's wild. But wait, he buzzed you in?
That's
though?
what I was about to say.
I'm like, why you
even?
buzzing in?
Yeah, why
but I
even buzz you
don't
in?
think that he was of mine. Like he was up
unwell.
late. He has a gun. Like
Right.
it's like I don't
Hell's
think
Kitchen
he's-
is a wild place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It was
I
really
think
wild.
maybe he was
Yeah.
waiting for something else. And when a white guy walks to the door,
Right. Yeah.
he
He might have been waiting for that 1 a.m. drop off.
Yeah.
Hey.
And it wasn't.
Right.
And it wasn't the drop off. It was you.
Yes. Yes.
Right. It
Yes.
was the jump off.
What about from the drop off to the jump off?
the
What
wrong
about you,
jump off.
Shaun?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really. So here's the thing, and this is another separation of us. I don't really remember because if I'm not into something, I just leave. Like I don't have a problem being like, this ain't it for me.
Yeah.
Or I walk in and you lied about your pictures. I'm like, you used to
Okay,
be, like you look like this and now you look. I'm like, I'm just not getting involved.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I can't really necessarily I had anything bad that I didn't choose to stay in because I was probably too horny to not. But if I wasn't into it, I'm like, I'm
There was
out.
one guy that purred at you.
But that was
Like
at
a
a bathhouse.
cat? That's a
different.
compliment.
That's a bathhouse. That's a bathhouse.
That means I feel good and comfortable.
No, it was scary. He's like, I said, "Oh no, I'm out. I'm wrapping this one up."
Now, Jordan, by the way, and we didn't even talk about this, but she's on Summer House Martha's Vineyard.
Let's go.
On Bravo.
On
Yes.
Bravo.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Flying for LA, whatever, and it was on. I was like, I thought
On
it
the
looked really-
plane?
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And so
that's
she's
me.
been through a lot of shitty relationships. So she actually
Yeah.
spent a year being celibate.
I did.
Just to kind of.
How was that?
Do you think it helped?
I do. I feel like it let me understand that boundaries are healthy in a way that I didn't understand before. And I feel like it also gave me a prerequisite sheet of like, okay, are you doing these things? Because it wasn't fun for me. And it felt like I was just having energy physically being deposited that wasn't right.
Right.
And so now I feel like I'm better at assessing like, okay, is this gonna be fun? Is this gonna be not?
Yeah.
And how do we move forward from
Oh my
that?
God, I
prior
have so
to
many
this-
questions.
No,
Go ahead.
I know. I do too.
We probably have the same.
I don't know if this is the same, but I'm so interested for your questions. So, like, prior to being celibate, would you consider yourself to be like a sex positive person?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I was Playmate of the Year for Playboy. So I've always been very comfortable in my body.
There's only been 4 black playmates.
And you
in
were
the
the
year.
last one.
I was the
right?
last one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Ever.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She said exclamation
Yes.
point.
Yes.
Okay.
But I was never promiscuous. That was never my thing. But I was just having relations with people who weren't available to me.
Right.
And it was starting to affect my self-confidence and how I looked at myself. And that's when I think I had to take a step back and be like, let me eliminate this for a second and see where I'm at with me and what I need to focus on.
Because some guys are hyped to just be like, oh, you know, I'm with the
Exactly.
Playboy Playmate.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
Of course.
And it was
Yeah.
a lot
Like,
of that.
I'm with Shaun
Yeah, it's
T,
like
you
a
know, it's the
trophy
same
thing, not like looking at you as the human that you are.
Right.
And how, like, what was the spark idea? Did you just wake up one day and were like, you know, I need to stop? Or was it something you read?
Y'all
or was
running
it
them down
like-
for me. Go ahead.
So I had this crush on this guy. We hooked up. It was fun, but he kind of ghosted me. And I had been good friends with this guy for like a year. And so I'm telling him this and I'm feeling some type of way. And I knew he was really into me. And you know that feeling when somebody's really into you and you're just kind of like, that's nice and whatever. But I was like, you know what? Let me see what this is hitting for. Maybe this will make me get back in my bag. And so we continued hooking up and I felt like, okay, I'm getting a little bit attached. Like we're kind of dating now. Complete loser. I'm talking mattress on the floor, Lower East Side, loser.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's be serious.
Visuals.
Well, we all got to do some nonprofit work.
Right, okay.
Yeah, we call it charity work. Yes.
And he ended up getting back with his girlfriend.
Oh.
And I was crushed. And I was like, why did I even let this happen? You're not even on my level. And I wouldn't have done this had I not been feeling so vulnerable and used my body as trying to
Figure it out.
Right.
So that's when I
really
was like, you know what?
amazing.
Let me just cut this for a
So
second.
did you go into it with your time frame in mind? Like, I'm going to go a whole year
Well,
and see if I can do it. Or was it for the long haul?
Originally, it was supposed to be until I was in a committed relationship.
Okay.
It became clear that was not going to happen anytime soon. So I was like, I'd like some dick, please.
Right.
Yeah.
Time's
Yeah.
up.
So after about a year and a half, I was in Salt Lake City on a brand trip. And my college crush happened to be, he's a
That
reporter.
was my next
Oh,
question.
that's
He was-
Yes.
Who was the first one?
Let me get my popcorn.
He was covering like the politics that were going on there. And I was like, how far are you from this hotel? And he traveled the 45 minutes. And
Okay.
I know he did.
But
got
now,
this
were
shit.
you honest with him about breaking your celibacy?
Yes. Yeah, he
Before.
knew that.
Prior to?
Yeah, he knew.
But
Yeah.
was this
He
going to
probably
be?
felt like you were like a virgin, like he was getting some virgin pussy all over.
I mean,
That was one of my questions. Like, so with you not doing anything for a certain period of time, how was
That thing was tight.
the first step
Oh
into?
my God.
She was crisp. Yeah, she was definitely crisp. But she was ready.
Yeah.
Yes.
I-
Yeah,
She was definitely
yeah.
ready.
Yes, I was properly
Greased up.
self-lubricated.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes.
I
Lip
was
gloss
wondering. I
was
didn't know that.
popping.
Yes, that's
I love
awesome.
it.
now I
Lip
want
gloss
to
is
ask
popping.
this: during celibacy, were you able to use toys?
Were you masturbating?
Okay, so you could do all
I mean,
of
I
those.
was even still, it was just full penetration. I was not
Got it.
Okay. Oh, so you
with the
still
shits on. But
getting
like, if I,
So you can get
Little
head like
oral,
that.
you know,
Okay.
I was okay with that.
Shanti, didn't you do? Were you gonna do the dildo? And I know we had a whole conversation.
Oh yeah,
about,
so so I was telling her how, you know, I wanted to create. Well, so with our OnlyFans, like, you know, our OnlyFans subscribers are like, can we get dildos? Like, you know, and we haven't even shown our entire dicks on OnlyFans.
just
but
part of
people-
it.
I was gonna say, what's a
molds
part of
your-
We
yourself?
just like, what's that?
Like a mold of yourself?
Yeah,
Look at me.
yeah. Yeah.
How do you
Just
know
like
that's
that.
what
It's
it's
kind of
like?
like that. But we haven't done it yet. We haven't done it yet.
Okay.
But
What's the other percentage we'll be paying you?
you know, I know, but I'm you
Total
know,
top.
I'm in the marketing. I'm in the marketing phase. I'm building up my audience so that I'm a builder audience. I like to like really like funnel people to this one thing, and then when we're able to put something out, like I want 90% people purchasing it.
Do you think on OnlyFans you'll ever go full?
I mean, so on our OnlyFans, you know, this is, well, I guess I can say it on here. We do have a platinum
This
group.
is lip service.
And it's
And
hard.
what do they get?
Like there's no
Literally.
prerequisite. There's no one knows how to get into platinum.
Okay.
So there is a platinum group in our OnlyFans, but no one knows how to get in it. You have to be invited into it.
Okay.
So they get better stuff than like our VIP.
Okay, so maybe if you're in platinum, you might see a little extra something.
Yes.
Let me find out y'all giving me an idea. I got OnlyFans too.
Oh, I will give you all the ideas.
Start up.
Did you know that
Really?
it's platinum?
Platinum puss.
Okay. I did not. So I'm
Platinum puss and
saying,
platinum penis.
Yes.
I used to be a stripper, exotic
me too. So I'm with you on that.
Yes.
And so I have a pole in my house, so I still do like pole dancing and I do
Yeah.
twerk videos and I show these titties all day.
They look good.
But
Yes,
thank
they
you.
do.
But I am not giving like here's my vagina.
Yeah,
I've never been a porn girl. I'm not a porn girl. I don't want to, cross that line when it comes to OnlyFans. But I always try to think of ways that I can give them a little more without
doing it.
But there you go.
It's in the
Create
messaging.
a selective group.
The thing is, it's all in the messaging and what it is that you want. So for us, there are a bunch of people that subscribe to our OnlyFans that are like, oh, because you used to have this thing called Naked Coffee on Instagram and like regular social media, but then you would just get all this backlash. Like, I can't believe you did that. You showing, and I'm like, all right, cool. OnlyFans comes out, so we do our naked coffee pictures on there. People
Which is
subscribe.
basically him drinking coffee naked.
Or us, it turned into us.
Let me know if you need some coffee. I have a coffee cup.
I
She
do.
definitely has a coffee
I
cup.
do. I'll put it right on OnlyFans. So, and then, so then you have the people who want that, but then we have a VIP and we're people who want a little more. So,
some cream.
yeah.
They want the cream with the coffee. Okay.
Clouds in my coffee.
Cream and coffee, two
Clouds in my
sugars.
coffee.
They want that raw sugar.
We all got a different song. I love it. But so we have our VIP group that gets basically like there's you have PPVs where you whatever, which a lot of my PPVs are either us in the shower or I'm doing like TikTok dances but like naked.
Yes, I love that. Ooh, I should start doing that too. Come on, let me take
But our VIP will
Put on an
get
apron.
our VIP will get like more intimate stuff with us. So like individual. Like it's a little bit more. But the platinum group is people are like, oh. When they get it, they're like,
we made it.
Thank you so much.
We unlocked something.
So you just like surprise them like, hey, you're platinum?
Yep, we
Like
say
Delta.
you're platinum. It's a process that they don't even know that they're going through, that they get in there because it's all based around trust because we don't want our stuff leaking, right? So the people who are in this group, like you already know, and most of them, and this is like not all of them, but there are a lot of them that are like CEOs, closeted men that are like, they're not going to share it because they don't even want people to know that they're in there. Yes. And that's, it's really, or like really like gay guys that just like, they're invested and they've been a part of our OnlyFans like since the beginning, and they're just like, I chat with them every day. So there's like different protocols and ways you can get
And
them.
how this all started was because during the pandemic, we were sitting home on Friday night. I was like, babe balls, we should entertain people because they're not doing anything and they're going to social media. So I came up with an idea of like just having a wine night where we, have wine and just talk. And people would come and went from 300 people to 500 people to 1,000 people to like, we're watching us on Friday nights just to have wine and talk about our relationship or friends.
At
and
first
sex.
it was very PG. We would have other couples on.
And then after a little wine.
And then one day,
In that wine.
one Friday, I pulled out my dildo and I
turned
pulled
into
out this
Freaky
lube
Friday.
That's right.
that showed people how to like numb your butthole so that you can be a better bottom. And that's when it just went to the next level.
So then
And I got in trouble by
That's
people
good
that were like,
advice for everybody because
Okay.
I've never been able to do that.
oh, I can
Anal.
teach you, child. You're good.
I don't know.
not
Like,
really.
okay, so
He actually could teach a class, like a sex ed class, and it would be beneficial for
Mostly on how to give a
anyone.
good
I would
male or
like to be able to make use of all my holes.
That's exactly it.
Angela.
That's exactly it. That's what I'm talking about.
We'll be right back from commercial.
Jordan, what about you?
I'm not into butt stuff.
Neither am I, but I'm saying maybe it's something amazing we need to unlock.
Yeah.
It might be like
Great to
I've
see.
given it a try, but I constantly just feel very like I'm gonna shit myself.
But do you douche beforehand? See, that's why y'all need
No,
gay people to
and-
teach y'all how to like, if you're fully prepared
Yeah.
and you have the right lube and they're playing
Eating
with
the
your
right
clit
food.
while it's happening, like you get the stimulation that is like, you know, and it's, this come from somebody, my mom asked me, I was like, hell to the no, I ain't doing that.
And now here you are. giving it back.
Right.
Teaching classes.
Literally could teach a class.
Wait, so how was it the first time you did it? That you were
Ever?
a bottom? Yeah.
Oh, I hated it. I
See,
did.
this is how we
Maybe
feel.
that's my
But
experience.
there's a trust factor too. Like,
Yeah.
because a lot of people, like, especially straight guys, they just think it's another
Yes.
hole.
Right.
That's, and it has to be
Right.
used different than your vagina. It has
Yeah.
to be like massaged in there, and there's a way to loosen it up, and there's a whole thing. And there has to be, like I said, stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, you have to be stimulating my dick if you're
I need to be
penetrating my
distracted.
hole. Well, it's just
I
like,
need a distraction.
Yeah. Like you edge me, and I'm like, you could go, you have whatever you want.
Because they say it's a relaxation thing too. Like you
Right.
have to have like
You're getting the senses fired up, and if all the senses are firing, it's like what, when, where, how.
You can't be with
now.
somebody that likes ravenous sex. You ever
Right.
be with somebody that they see you and they just
They
want
want to tear you up.
Yeah, they act like they
Yeah,
haven't
you
had
like,
it in 30
yo,
years.
I tell
Sure.
guys, I
No,
say,
I
do
don't
not
need
kill the
that.
pussy because she will die.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, don't go.
Jackrabbit.
So will the ass.
Yeah,
The ass
just
will
don't
die
do that.
Your ass
You gotta take care of her.
But all right, so Scott, when you guys first hooked up, were you were already about him, or were you both tops, or
I was, I guess, top verse.
okay,
And so
ambidextrous?
I was
Yeah.
that.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it was a matter, when you feel the emotional connection, you will pretty much do anything to be and feel that person. And so it just turned into kind of a mutual thing for both of us.
Yeah.
So because it's intense, and it's amazing to share that moment with someone anyway.
Right.
So
But it's a lot.
Yeah, we're
first.
getting quite an education
Right.
here.
I'm
Well, I mean,
like,
it's a
I'm
lot.
sad.
I'm a
Literally.
very good
I'm like,
first time. I'm a very good first time top for somebody who's first time bottoming.
Yes.
Like,
Okay.
I'm so good at it.
yes.
You like walk you through it. Let me walk you
just
through
like, I'm
this.
so good at it.
So
I'm like,
let me
so
ask
good.
you this: that y'all have been dating
I'm
for
like, I
14
want the
years. You
sex
know, I'm
education tape.
all in y'all mix.
Yeah.
Do you ever? Is it monogamous, or do you ever bring other people in the mix?
Oh, we bring people in.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we have a good ass time.
We have a good ass time.
Yeah, and it was me. Like we were 2 years into our relationship. I'm like, look, and this is where most people like clutch their pearls or gasp. I'm like, listen, your dick is my favorite. Like, I'm emotionally, like I'm with you. I've never had a problem getting a boner if he just touched me or wanted to shut it down. But I'm like, your dick can't be the last dick I suck.
Ever.
Ever. Especially if we're gonna be together for like the
Forever.
next 50 years. I'm like, yo. And I was like, plus I need practice. Like, and he wasn't fine with it at first because he was just, you could tell why.
I'm just a traditional white guy from Seattle. So
Right.
it's like, again, my parents are together for so long. And so you just have this thing that you're not supposed to do that because it's what
Because
you've been
it's
taught or
wrong.
society or whatever. And so, there's questions of, well, am I enough? Or, what do we, let's talk
Fair
about
enough.
it. And so we did. I remember him talking about it for the first time. We were at my parents' house in Phoenix, and it was like, okay, but he made some really good points. Like, you're walking down the street in the city, you see someone that's attractive. Like, you see the people all the time, and it's okay
And
to
you're
acknowledge.
hot.
Right. So it's like,
Like-
it's okay to acknowledge it, and it's okay to talk to me about it, because let's talk about it, let's explore that, and then, move in that direction if we want to.
So what's the rules?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what was
how
the
does
first
it
time
work?
like?
Because
We
is
got
it
questions.
only if it's you guys as a couple doing
No, 'cause I
something?
hate
Can you do
threesomes.
stuff?
There's too much going on.
But can you do stuff without each other? Like how did?
yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So it's like an open relationship.
again,
really.
it's we said we have no secrets.
No
It's
secrets.
like, you just have to tell me what you're doing.
Okay.
Always have to get the address just in case.
Yeah.
And then, and there's something very erotic about him coming home and telling me what happened, or, because then it gets us excited that we do it again.
Usually
Like,
when
it's
we
like-
do it, like we come home and like, if the person lets us film, like,
you gotta watch
like,
this.
you give the other
Yeah.
person a blowjob while they're
Hey,
watching it.
is
It's so
there
hot.
ever, does it ever go from you gotta watch this to you gotta try this?
we pretty much have done everything.
No, we've done it all. Ain't nobody done
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, that
It's
Everything
like,
we
what
wanna
haven't we
do.
done?
Yeah.
Is this part of the platinum perks?
What do you?
Of
No
your-
one
of your
gets an
OnlyFans?
in-person service.
I mean, I don't know.
It ain't going that far.
we've had one guy offer us $80,000 to just eat our asses.
Wow.
He's gonna eat your ass.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a bad deal.
groceries.
It's not a bad deal.
That
but
is the most
I
expensive
guess-
bag of groceries ever.
Yeah. Let me tell you
Listen,
something.
80,000 to eat my ass.
that cake.
Like,
He's at
like
both.
Meg Thee Stallion said, I'll do anything to get to the bag.
And you ain't got to do nothing else. And the cash up front.
No, Listen, it never went through. However, I was definitely considering it.
I want to ask y'all this for the ladies in the room. Can you imagine being in a relationship with somebody? Could you watch them have sex with someone else, like on camera, on film, and then be like, let's try that, or like perform?
I'm into
or,
voyeurism.
okay. Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I like to watch. I've never tried it though, but I imagine like fantasy wise, I feel like I'd be into it. Yeah,
I would say, to your point and to the point, because there, obviously there's a lot of people like, oh my God, like that's not a relationship. You can't do it. But I'm just like, this is how I look at it, and it sounds so crazy to a lot of people. I'm like, I have sex with him. Like, I'm always with him. And yeah, we can film ourselves, whatever. But live porn with the hottest person,
Man,
I'm like, yo,
listen.
I'm sitting back literally
Yeah.
enjoying. I'm like, this is so incredibly hot. And the most reason why is because we're very secure with each other.
Right.
You know, I
No
don't,
secrets.
you know,
Yeah.
and I say this to people, it's like, people are like, oh, but he could run off and like, what if he meets somebody? I'm like, he can do that at the grocery store. He could like, you never know if your person's ever
Yeah.
gonna leave you really, but you have to, like my tattoo say, you have to trust and believe.
And there's no one out there better for either one of you.
yeah,
right?
it's
Literally.
not. I'm like, please, I shot this one a lot.
I love this.
I feel like the people who say that too are just people who've never experienced real honesty and intimacy with someone.
Yeah, it's very true because when I was traveling around, when I was a choreographer and I would go to different cities, you know how many straight men at the bar of a hotel would be hitting on me? Like,
Well,
that were married.
Those aren't really straight men.
Well, I mean, I would say,
I know,
say
quote
in
unquote
quote,
straight,
married.
yeah.
I'll just say married because,
Married
like,
men, yeah.
you know, and it's not even that all of them were gay. They were bisexual. They wanted to try it, but it's just not
Curious.
allowed because it's looked down upon. I'm like, life is so much better.
I can't wait for that stigma to be erased.
Right.
I feel you feel like things are better.
So many of them out there.
Yeah, when kids are coming out at like 12 or
Yeah,
I mean,
things are definitely
I think that they're moving in the right direction. Hopefully they'll continue in that direction. Who knows where it'll lead to? But I think it's better because I mean there was nothing on TV when I was a kid growing up. What I remember is athletes, 2 women tennis players came out as gay and it was like bad. You know, so it was like now it's like when someone comes out, it's a support thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. So, Shaun T, when you came on the show and you talked about your stepfather, and people in the comments were like, do you think that's why he's gay? And I saw a lot of people saying that in the comments. And I know you went to like you've been going to therapy and working things out. What do you respond when people say something like that?
I mean, my first thing is like, doesn't matter. Like, I'm happy now. You know what I'm saying? But I would say the majority of gay men that I know knew from the earliest years. Yeah. I think so I've always been attracted to men, but I have been with women. And when I was a teenager, you know, I was rock hard with women, but I still wanted men. I think I was like I don't know if I would consider myself bisexual at that time, but I'm like, it made my dick feel good, so I liked it.
That sounds bisexual.
Yeah.
It sounds fluid. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
and you know,
Fluid.
and like even to like this day, like if I'm at like I've had men be like, hey, can you fuck me in front of my wife or whatever, and I'm like, what does she look like? Like,
Period.
you know what I mean? Like, is she just gonna watch? Because I find it hot. I'm like, you know, would I fool around with her? I don't know. It just
I
depends.
might
But-
squeeze a titty.
right, or lick one. But I'm not one of those. I'm not there, and I know a lot of gay guys. It's like they just have no interest. It's like a lot of straight people have no interest in the opposite sex, the same sex. But me, I'm very sex positive, and I rarely say no to anything that's not dangerous.
Okay.
When it comes to like intimacy.
Yeah, because when we talked, I didn't even think about that. But then I saw a bunch of people saying that, and I was like,
But to answer your question, I'm gonna go through that a little more. It's very disrespectful to actually assume that because someone was molested, even if you mean it, like if you're just interested, it's like don't take something terrible that happened to me and try to place my current life about like and make it about that, because I did a lot of work to overcome that. I'm not thinking about that.
Right.
But if I had to give a hard answer, no. A bitch was gay forever.
bitch was gay.
So
You know what
I
I mean?
had a whole debate with an ex of mine when we were together about, are you born gay? Do you turn gay? Can you be turned gay? Can things influence you to be gay? Yeah. And technically I'm bisexual. I love men. I only want to touch on women. I don't want to be with one. But I've been touching on coochie since I was 9, 10 years old. Yeah. So it's like nothing made me want to do that besides the fact that I wanted to do it.
And I also feel like with women, it's more encouraged.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Right,
Like,
it's funny,
days.
right? Because
Agreed.
men would be like, "Oh yeah, I want to see 2 girls hook up," but like for me, to your point, it's also just having that discussion, like, well, you weren't born like that, like something happened to you, and I'm sure you've heard this before. I'm like, okay, well, if I
Yes.
If you're telling me I chose to be gay, then I mean you at the club and you want to
Had to
suck dick too.
choose.
You just are saying I don't want to do it.
Right.
That's basically what you're saying. Because if I have the choice, then that means you have the choice.
That mean we all have a
and
choice.
you want to
And that
suck
was
some
our
dick.
argument.
Yeah.
And you know, the other thing is there are a lot of people who have unfortunately been molested and they didn't all become gay from it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, so that's why I didn't even think about it, but honestly, a lot of people said it in the comments, and that's why I was like, well, I would love for you to answer that because it was something.
Yeah,
that
I'm just
kept-
like, it's so
With,
crazy to me.
With the community being so well respected and so well acknowledged these days, you know, it's hard for straight men, I'm gonna say, to really just go with the flow of things, right? And in that conversation that I was having with him, he was really hell-bent on the things that are on TV and they're putting it in the children's face and they're making the children want to be gay. And I'm just like,
and he
if
don't
that
mind,
little boy,
but he don't mind you fucking with women.
well, I wasn't at the time because we didn't experience.
But
we
let's
didn't
be
have that
honest.
experience.
I knew I was gay very, very young. I just remember I wanted this neighborhood kid to climb through my window like Rapunzel or something. Or whatever. How many years did I see straight TV, read straight books, and it didn't turn me straight?
Right.
Like, I had sex with women, but it
Still wanted
wasn't
to
the
be with a
fire
man.
that I felt when I was with guys. So it was like,
Also with straight men, you know, I don't like to like generalize, but I'm going to use straight men for this instance. Like even when you're in a locker room, they're like, I don't want no guys. I'm like, just because I'm gay, why do you think I want to get with
I
you?
don't
anyway?
like you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or like when
Yeah.
women call me a waste of a man because I'm gay, I'm like, I don't want to fuck you anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
And
you
never
think
did.
you
Right.
think
exactly.
everybody that just because I'm gay, like I'm looking at you as a guy or vice versa. I'm like, y'all, it's so. You know, in my experience, a lot of the people who have this hard stance against gay
They
are
hiding
hiding
something.
something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Me and you, we're gonna go out.
What were your first, I want to know about your
what
first
he always
experience.
They're
says
hiding
is
something.
everyone's in the closet about something.
Everybody's in the
Something.
closet about something, you know. So it's just kind
Not
of
just
like
sexuality,
Right.
but something.
something.
Oh,
You
what
know,
am I in the
something.
closet about?
Ooh,
I don't
yes.
know, and
Story at
If
11.
we all in the closet
We
about
gonna dig
something,
in your closet and see, girl.
I
Let me
gotta
interview
think
you,
about
Angela.
that. Jordan, what are you in
Tables
the
have
closet
turned.
about?
Ooh.
I don't even know how to answer that.
I don't know. It might be the butt stuff. We're still figuring that out.
Okay.
No, Gigi's out the closet
I've been
for
out
sure.
the
You think you're in the closet about something?
It might be the butt stuff. Maybe.
Okay.
Let me tell you,
I don't know.
I wanted to say this, but I've learned not to interrupt because I have a problem with
ahead.
it, right? But girl, anal orgasm is the best orgasm I ever had in my life.
Okay. Okay.
See,
I
that's-
mean, I'm
she's
open
selling
for whatever.
And I have had a lot of orgasms.
Okay.
Because I'm a hoe.
So it's just a technique.
Go see.
It's the right person.
I like
Okay.
sex.
Have you ever squirted?
Nope.
Neither have I.
Yeah, no.
But I've had orgasms, but I just never squirted.
Yeah, same. No juices flying.
Girl.
Yeah.
You?
Yes, I am a squirter. But I will say this. I was with the same man for 11 plus years and he never made me squirt. I was with somebody else and he made me squirt the very first time
You
we
think
had
it's
sex.
the angle of his?
It's the penis and it's what he does with it.
Let's
And this guy that made me squirt all of these gazillion times, it's like a record-breaking amount of times that this man made me
Yes.
squirt. 19 times in a 24-hour period and then 25 times. in a
How big
24-hour
was it?
period.
25 times
In a 24-hour period.
How are you
It got to the
alive?
point you weren't
Right.
raw. You were able to
In a
walk
24-hour
and-
period. So
Was
like
there-
last night,
That's like
today,
once an
into the
hour.
night.
That's
In the
damn near once an
24
hour.
Listen,
Yeah, but y'all can
got to the
orgasm
point.
like
listen, it
multiple
got to
times
the
in
point
one
where
session.
he would literally just put
Don't
two
hate.
fingers in and
Yeah.
go dit, and I would just.
I am
Yeah, it was
Where is
crazy.
this
Back
man?
to back to back.
jealous.
He's a magician.
Wait, can I?
yeah.
So, like, was his dick like
David
bigger than
Copperfield.
any?
It wasn't the biggest dick I ever had,
Or
but it
curved
was.
in a certain way. Or...
He knew how. He knew how.
He literally learned my body the very first
Love
time. Like he loved my body the very
love
first time we
that.
had sex. Yeah, he's a
See how
What
amazing
happened
that
to
can
him?
be?
he's a
Y'all just
magician.
went your
He's a
separate
wizard.
ways?
You think most guys aren't like that? They don't learn your body.
They don't pay attention. I think they're
Agreed.
intimidated by the vagina.
Yes, they don't. A lot of men don't take the time to
You
figure
know,
it out.
I think porn makes guys think that certain things is what works.
100%.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Porn
on
is the
porn.
biggest don't
Not that
ever.
I should say don't watch it or
Not
at
don't
all,
watch it, but
I
don't
think-
believe it.
Don't think that is like your educational.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not.
What I
Porn is
notice is that
fake.
these young boys, like when I see them, I'm like,
It's like
that
touch.
is not how you fuck. Like, that's not how you do it. You know, that's not how you give a blowjob.
I
Like,
will say I do watch a lot of gay porn, and I be looking for techniques.
you called me. I'll give you the good technique.
Listen,
We
you
need to
said
say
you want to make
education
sure that
video.
that's not the last dick you suck. So that's something you enjoy.
I come to New York every 2 weeks to film lip service.
Well, I live in Arizona, so, you know.
Come to Arizona.
I'll come in.
So why, I'm always curious why you would watch, or women in general watch gay porn.
Ooh, it turns me on. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Well, they like men.
I mean-
so my porn goes lesbian porn, gay porn. I don't watch straight porn.
Why not?
I don't want to look at a penis until it's going in my mouth or
Got it.
in my
Love
vagina.
that.
I think a lot
I
of
don't
times
like dick pics. I don't want
Yeah, I don't
want
like
my man to call me with his dick in the FaceTime. I don't want to see it until I'm about to use it.
I think some people like porn that's taboo, like
And that part-
things
Oh,
that you
yes.
can't do.
Because I
Yes.
also like
Because, like, we're not
I like
men.
Yes.
transgender porn.
Yes.
Like I like the chicks with
Right.
dicks.
Yes.
it's
like
like
that
stuff
too.
that we can't do.
FTM
So
porn is kind of hot.
Yeah.
what's
Like
FTN?
Female to
Female
male
to
porn.
male.
Where, like,
Oh, female.
When the
okay.
female has a penis and she's
no,
terrible.
when the
Turn-
female has, like, it's a trans guy.
Transitions
When
to
he
a
transitions
guy.
from a female to a male. So now he has hair over his
Looks like a
chest,
guy.
hair in his face,
I
like
haven't
full
I haven't
muscular
got
man.
this one yet. Y'all give me
But
a
he's-
I'm like, this is new.
Initial-
But
Like,
he
that's in my
still
notes.
has his vagina.
Yeah.
It's really intense.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
How important is dick size when it comes to who you hook up with?
Well, I don't want no big old dick in me. So I'm cool with a good 6. I'm like, I can enjoy it, but this one got a good 8.5. And I'm like, what?
You measured it.
8+.
But like, you know, I'm like,
That's painful.
exactly. That's why it took me so long to want to do it. But
You should
know,
have a little sympathy.
But you know, I don't know. What was I talking about? I got distracted. I mean, it gets lengthy when he's in his top, horniness.
My top era.
Oh, now let me
tier.
ask y'all this. Aside from everything else, you guys are also, in an interracial relationship.
Yeah.
Now, how is that? Was there ever any issues or any reservations about that?
No one has ever said anything to me about it, and they probably know better.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
it's not-
surprised. I have dated black guys in the past, and I don't ever remember experiencing anything. I've dated Latin guys in the past.
In person, sorry, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
go.
in person, no one's ever said it to me. But online,
Of course.
it actually a few weeks ago there was this like huge thing because we went to this retreat that wasn't our retreat. We just ended up going to a retreat and it was like mostly white guys there and they're like, yeah, he want to be the only nigga in the room and like this, that, and the third. I'm like,
was
they just
wild, though.
automatically jumped to
That's
conclusions that it was my retreat and I invited all white guys and
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
yo, I'm like, it's that's the one thing about the gay black community that's really annoying is like. It's like if you're a black guy that dates a white guy or married to a white guy, they automatically assume that you're a sellout. I'm like, you just mad that I haven't sucked your dick. Yeah, you don't know how many black guys I've been with or how many Latin guys I've been with or how many Middle Eastern guys I've been with. You only say
see what you're
that
saying
because
right
you
now.
see the person that I'm married to. And I'm like,
Right.
maybe I should put out a video so I can shut them up.
Yeah.
Join the platinum.
See that?
Join that get that platinum privilege.
You hear a lot, you see a lot on the news or whatever about how people hate on interracial relationships. I think that I have been very lucky that we have been very lucky that we haven't experienced that yet. But I think it's also, we have 6-year-old boys and we have one that looks whiter and you have one that looks black and it'll
He
be
is black. They're both
they're both black.
Right.
So but it'll be interesting to see how society treats them.
And they're twins.
And
I just started to introduce that to them.
And you guys were donors separately for each one, right? Is that how it worked?
Well,
so we had
one egg donor.
split.
We
Okay.
took it's like if you gave us your eggs, we took 2 of your eggs. He fertilized one. I
And you
fertilized one.
fertilized
and we
one.
put it
Okay.
in you.
Yeah, because I
That's
love
how
to
it
hear how
works.
surrogacy
Amazing.
works. I love that.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It
Y'all
was
got like designer babies. Like y'all
Right.
but we
like,
like our
that's
egg donor is a
amazing.
black
them
woman.
how y'all wanted to.
By the way,
Right.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
like,
that's great.
I think that was the best way for that to be able to happen. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's it's amazing because it's a way for them. It's like our family's connected because we're interracial. And even though Sander is like, I made him and the egg donor is Black, but she also is like, I think like 25 or 30% German. So it's like it's a big mix, you know, in our house, and it just flows and it works.
I love it.
I remember the day when Shaun was like, so, you know, it took us 5 years and 12 tries, 2 doctors, 6 egg donors, 5 surrogates, whatever.
God is good, though.
Yeah, and I remember, you know, you reach a point in each of this process where you're like, we can't go anymore with this, so you have to start over. And you're literally starting over. And so we start over and we start over. And I remember this last time he's like, I'm going to find our egg donor. And I remember specifically him sitting down and going on the computer and finding.
I said, I'm going to find her today.
And he, sure enough, you know, I mean, it could take people months to find someone that both of us agree on. And he's like, I found her. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, that's.
I was like, we're gonna have a baby with this woman.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's like more of like that. This is probably a little deeper than we need to go, but you know, when you go on the egg donor website, it's like online dating. You get their height, their weight. They have to show pictures of when they were kids, and you get a picture of like they have to show a certain amount of pictures, and then they do this long write up as to why they're doing it. You get their family history, the health history, the whole thing. But all of them have an alias. So let's just say one of them was like Angela, but her real name is Shaun, right? Like this woman was like, had her alias as Angela, but then she introduced herself like, hey, I'm Shaun. And immediately was like, this person doesn't want to lie.
Right.
That's who I'm choosing her, because like everyone else, like they introduce themselves as their alias.
Right.
And what she said she was going to do with the money, she ended up doing it, and it was so cool to like see. Well, I don't know if I want to say because
the whole
I
process,
ghost follow her. So
was it really? So the whole process was expensive, though, right? Being that you guys
we
went
spent over $500,000 in that 5 years.
Wow, I'm so glad it happened for you guys, though.
Yeah.
Thank you. So,
but it was, again, I just also, there's so many milestones during it happened where the very first meeting in January of 2013, the doctor sits us down and is like, you know, this may not follow the path that you think it's going to, you know, might take a little longer than you think. And I was like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? Like, I got good sperm, he's got good sperm, we got good eggs. This will be 1 and done, 2 and done. And then sure enough, you know, miscarriage didn't work, another miscarriage didn't work, you know, problem with this. And you're like, wow, like this is taking forever. And we're at ground zero again. What do we do?
I'm so happy. And it makes you think about maternal health care.
Yeah.
And like just all of that and how difficult it is for women, you know? And lastly, because I know we have to get out of here, but I want to ask you guys
we
about.
want to stay with y'all.
I know. About working together. You know, and being a couple, but spending a lot of time together, being in love, but also working together. How is that making that transition? Of course, we know you have your underwear line.
T-bone.
T-bone. You know what I'm saying?
Get it?
T-bone. T-boner.
I love that.
How's it? Well, it's really interesting. So obviously prior to having kids, we pretty much spent all day together, and we are literally best friends. Like we just are, you know what I'm saying? In every way possible. Working together is interesting. I mean, there's definitely some tough moments because you want to shut off work, or there's like work conflict and you have to like work through that. But for the most part, like we don't work together. Like I have like an amazing executive assistant who is like my external hard drive, right? And we have other employees that are like, they work so hard, and I work mostly with them, and he deals with contracts and money. There is overlap, obviously, but I think we don't necessarily work together in a
Like
very
hand in hand.
intense sense, even though he's more my manager. It's kind of hard to explain, but you can give it from your standpoint.
So I think 2 things I think about when spouses or family work together. Before I met Shaun, I was working for my parents, and they had an education consulting company, so I had some history in working with family. But there was 2 things one thing I learned from him was like, you have to establish parameters.
Yes.
Like, and I remember because when we were first together, I would be up until 2 a.m. and he's sleeping on my couch, and he gets up at 5 because he's just on the go, and I sleep until 10. He's like, we need to change this, because if we continue this, we're not going to see each other. And so he's like, let's try and work from 9 to 5. And when it comes, we turn our phones off or whatever. And so establishing those rules or parameters is essential. So that was really good. And the other thing was, when we have something to talk to each other about, it's like, we need to go we have a precursor, which is we need to go in the locker room. I need to talk to you as my husband, or I need to talk to you as my boss. I need to talk to you as my coworker.
Or my best friend.
Right.
Or, we preface it. Yeah.
Okay, babe balls, we're talking about work and I need you to be like a work colleague for this.
And I'm going to tell you why he calls me babe balls, by the way. So I'm probably like,
y'all said it he said it a couple of times.
I think it's important establishing those parameters so that people understand.
Babe balls.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why we call each other babe balls is because, like, you ever hear somebody say, holy fuck balls or something like that? So we always said, whenever you add balls at the end of a word, it makes it exponentially amazing. So instead of calling each other baby, we call each other babe balls. It's exponentially
such an amazing cute bay.
Babe balls.
So,
all right, well, listen, you guys, make sure. I'm so into this. Like, I love it. I loved our conversation. Yeah. I told them before you guys came, I was like, they'll talk about everything, anything, like complete open book. So we always appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, transparency. And I'm a big believer in, you have to live your life for you, because I don't know if I'm gonna be here tomorrow, and I want to have a good ass time.
Same.
And we respect people, we change people's lives every day, but like, especially coming on a show like this, there'll be a lot of people like, damn, like, I didn't know that about Shaun T and Scott.
Right.
But I'm like, you don't know a lot about anybody that you see online. You literally probably know 3% of that.
We know that we want to get our abs like yours.
Oh yeah, well,
Like,
and I want my sex education
total
video.
time.
Yes.
Let's do total time.
Get them push-ups going. Drop and give me 50.
50 squirt.
But no, honestly, I appreciate you guys so much, and we definitely will follow up. Like, we want to make sure we keep our relationship going,
Yes,
because this was so much
should.
fun.
We
I
always
loved
come
having
on.
you on Way Up, and I loved having you here. And we talked about you so much, Scott. It's great to meet you in person.
I will say that he came and did your show, Way Up, and I was like, I saw this interview and I was like, this is the best fucking interview I've ever seen anyone do with Shaun. The questions you asked, the intent, it just was. It literally felt like you were authentically wanting to know more about this person. And I know you do it on the regular, but I don't know if it's just your gift. But I was telling everyone, you have to watch this interview. You have to watch
So
because
good.
it was so brilliant. So thank you for doing that.
Well, it's great. And even interviewing somebody, but having somebody who's great to interview,
Yes.
who actually talks and is open, that helps so much when it's time to like move the conversation, elevate the conversation. So I appreciate you both today for being here. And of course, I love my girls. The ladies. Lip service. Jordan's been guest hosting on Way Up. So she actually has her degree in journalism.
Oh my gosh, this is so
Don't play with her.
What did you?
Yeah, I went to school for radio TV.
I was definitely listening today.
Yeah,
see, I love it.
Originally,
So
and then I switched over. And so I tell him every time I get to do these type of shows and interviews and even my podcast, I'm like, it's because it's I love it. And that's
Are
why
you going to bring this podcast back?
What's that? Oh yeah, my podcast. Yeah, so Tears for Transformation. So I just kind of changed the structure of it, but yeah, I've already shot 2 seasons of it.
Okay.
And so we're just like in a post-production part now.
Okay, good. All
The
right,
transformation story.
Let's go.
I want a radio show.
Yeah, you
That I can be a
listen.
little bit more
I can
ratchet.
see it. Okay, and Gigi is actually going to be at Essence, also representing for lip service, doing interviews.
Yes. So this will actually be my first time being on the red carpet as an interviewer. I've been on a few red carpets where they were interviewing me, but I will be on-site correspondence for lip service at the Essence Awards this year.
Amazing.
Where's
I'm
it
very
held?
excited.
Essence Festival,
It's-
yeah.
I'm sorry,
in
Essence
New Orleans
Festival.
still?
In New
Okay.
Orleans,
Yeah.
yeah.
New Orleans, July 5th.
Yeah,
It's always,
I've
yeah.
spoken there. I've been there.
4th of
love
July
Essence.
weekend.
So this is the first time I'll actually be working Essence.
And she's
Festival.
also narrating the Magic City movie.
Yeah, so Magic
shout
City
out.
has a documentary that has been picked up by a major network. Can't say who it is yet, but it's executive produced by Jermaine Dupri and Drake's Dream Crew production company, as well as Jamie Gertz. She owns the Hawks with her husband.
Oh, wow.
Magic City's really involved. I narrate. I am like the star of the show. It's a 3-part docuseries.
You must be like
and
beyond
I am
excited.
beyond stoked. I saw the first episode. We did South by Southwest. So we premiered the first episode there.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like teased a little bit with a little bit of it, but I can't wait to see the. I can't wait for the world to see it for real.
So give everybody in this room their flowers.
Including you.
Thank you guys. It's lip service.
We appreciate y'all.
Bye-bye.